Okay, it's a Tara show. I know we're going live. We're gonna fake it till we make it. That's why we're here on the Tara show. Hey, everybody. Holy hell. It's another Tuesday in MAGA world. What the hell? What? Where do we still live in? Is this still America? Or
Technically.
what is happening? Hi, Jim, in the chat. Hi, everybody who is joining us live on both the Substack and on the YouTubes. Dublin and Devlin bringing the TNT dynamite. I went to the Oregon coast all day yesterday after seeing the announcement because I was just like, screw it. Screw this. I can't control anything. And it's going to be 100 degrees in Portland. And I went to the ocean yesterday. And I will repeat this at the end of the show when more people have joined us. But I encourage you to go to any one of my social media accounts because I put on the video of my toes in the ocean and listening to the sound of the waves. If you don't have an ocean near you, I feel badly for anybody who has no proximity to an ocean. As someone who grew up 20 minutes away from the Jersey Shore, that's where I went for my healing. As soon as I got my driver's license, I would jump in my car and drive down to like Sandy Hook and scream into the waves. And I intended to do that yesterday on the Oregon coast because I figured no one will be there on a Monday. That's why I didn't go on Sunday. And there were like 300 people on the beach. I was like, no, none of you no, you can't be here. I have to keen and whale, which I didn't get to do. But I did get to enjoy the ocean and the coolness of the Pacific on my feet. And for 8 hours, I didn't think about politics because I couldn't get a strong enough signal. So I didn't look at my phone. And I just enjoyed being there. And I will say, and then we'll get to this bad stuff that's happening. For all of that time, the entire experience was dogs and children and people throwing frisbees and footballs and lots of hot surfer dudes because the beach that I go to is like a surfer's paradise. It's kind of like a contained cove, and there's cliffs on either side. It's a very contained little space, and I love it so much. And it's gorgeous there. And so there's the salt air is very therapeutic. But there were so many people there that is basically just me looking at the ocean for all of that time, which is great. Just super great and therapeutic despite the other people that were around me. No red hats to be seen. And
That's nice.
I know. And it was just like the beach being a great equalizer for humanity because I saw bodies of all shapes and sizes, massive amounts of body confidence. Kudos to everybody, male, female, young, old. Everybody was out there enjoying themselves on the sand and in the water. And for a day, it was just a regular day in the United States of America where you can just go to the beach, hang out with your family and have a picnic and throw a stick in the water to your dog, and there is no cares in the world, and it was glorious. So
that's lovely. But I mean, here's the thing. It reminds me of, not that you do have to take those days and get those mental health breaks. Otherwise, you're going to just crack. I'm talking about myself. I shouldn't say, let me keep it to me. I'll just crack. But it reminds me of that famous Milton Mayer book, They Thought They Were Free, written by Milton Mayer. He was a sociologist who studied the Germans after World War II to find out why would such, they were a democracy, a republic, right? And they were a modern civilization. They were on the vanguard of progressivism in so many ways. But how did they fall to this authoritarianism? And it whenever people, we go to the beach, we do these things, but there's a famous quote that says, and I'm looking at it right now, it says, so it's not from the top of my head, it says, yes, the world you live in, your nation, your people, is not the world you were born in at all. The forms are all there, all reassuring, the houses, the shops, the jobs, the meal times, the visits, the concerts, the cinema, the holidays, but the spirit, which you never notice because you made the lifelong mistake of identifying it with the forms, is changed. Now you live in a world of hate and fear, and the people who hate and fear don't even know it themselves. When everyone is transformed, no one is transformed. I just dropped something. And now you live in a system which rules without responsibility, even to God. The system itself could not have intended this at the beginning, but in order to sustain itself, it was compelled to go all the way. And then he says, to live in this process is absolutely not to be able to notice it. Please try to believe me. Each step was so small, so inconsequential, so well explained and even regretted that unless one was detached from the whole process, one no more saw it developing from day to day than a farmer in his field sees the corn growing until one day it's over his head. And that is such a chilling statement to me about what the time that we're living in. If everyone is transformed, you live in a world of hate and fear. That's what they're trying to do to this country. That's it. There's no compassion anymore. There's no concern.
We have now entered into a further stage where he's just pulling anybody in to lie for him that he can.
Right.
Anything that's going to come from this White House, we already knew was going to be a lie. But to say that crime in Washington, D.C. is so bad that you need the National Guard, but you didn't call them in on January 6th.
Oh, yeah.
And crime, by the way, in January of this year, when Joe Biden was still in office, which feels like a million years ago, crime was down by 30% in Washington, D.C. Or a 30-year low or something. It was a 30-year low or by 30%. It was 30.
Right.
But I'm sorry. I have a little bit of a hangover. I tweaked my back yesterday getting out of my car. And because I'm old, and so I did take a muscle relaxant last night, and I've had coffee, and I'm awake. I'm just a little, but anyway, a little famished.
If she winces in pain, it may not simply be because of traitor Trump.
It's multiple things. It's multiple things. But the point being that crime in Washington, D.C. was at an all-time low, a historic low, really, thanks to Joe Biden, as it was nationwide. And so Donald Trump has manufactured this fear, as he's manufactured all of this other fear, to get us to stop talking about the Epstein files, which we're certainly not going to do. We're not. I mean, if nothing else is going to make us talk about it more, because it's so obvious. Everything they do from this point on is to make sure that we don't talk about them, which we're going to talk about them more. And it's crazy. Like, what is the end game here? Because if you think you're going to do this in every city that has a black mayor,
he will, and I hope he does.
Right?
I hope he does, because we need to get this fascism fuckery over with. People are not going to stand for it. I hate to tell you, it's really true. That's one thing that we have.
It is
on that the Weimar Republic didn't have, is that we have an entire history of being a free, constitutionally limited democratic republic. They didn't have that. They were a relatively new republic. So the people did, have a lot of them had a personal memory of living under a monarchy and such. But we don't have that. We're not going to stand for this for that long. That's for sure. Although people are cowed. But I also want to point out that we all know that it's all performative, of course, and it is about black people dividing people along racial lines. But here's some states that have a worse crime rate than D.C.: Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Missouri, right? Arkansas, South Carolina, Tennessee, Oklahoma. Yeah, what do they all have in common?
Oklahoma. Yep. Red states are dead states, and it happened with COVID. It happens with everything. They are going to, and this big beautiful bill, it's hitting red states harder. Everything is going to hit red states harder, and they're going to need more help from blue states. And it's infuriating. All of this is infuriating, but multiple things are infuriating today, aside from him pulling this latest publicity stunt, which is so pathetically weak.
Yeah, he's such
I do need a better response from Democrats other than some snarky tweets. But what we are seeing is a call for making D.C. the 51st state,
yes,
which is long overdue. And then once they do that, they can get Puerto Rico as the 52nd
That's
already.
Right.
Let's go.
Enough
Why
is enough.
is taking... Well, Democrats should have codified Roe when they had the chance, and they didn't, and they should have done this statehood thing
opportunities
when we had all of the power, and now here we are going. We're trying to figure out what to do next, and what's also frustrating is Democrats have access to the Epstein files, and we know this because my senator Ron Wyden, who will be joining us next Thursday, August 21st, for a solid 15, as long as things don't get insane. He may have to reschedule, but that is tentative for next week. But Ron Wyden released a 7.5-minute video about their investigation into the Russian financial ties to the Trump, Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell sex trafficking ring, and I've been tweeting them endlessly. And nobody is paying attention to that part. I mean, there's the pedophilia part, which is disgusting. But then there's the Russian blood money part of it, which is also disgusting. And everyone's like, we're going to outlaw gay marriage again and put the National Guard in the streets of Washington, D.C. None of this changes the fact that Donald Trump raped little girls who were sex trafficked, and similarly
so did Maxwell.
raped and abused by Maxwell and Epstein. And she's fucking walking around during the day in Texas so she can, lure a teenage girl into a bathroom because she hasn't had one in a while.
I'm a danger to society.
Furious.
Yeah, the whole thing. She should not be in Club Fed. In fact, I was just reading Allison Gill's Substack where she has her...
she's amazing. Bless her.
She has her, security score, custody level, transfer code, and sex offender waiver. Because she's on the high end. That's why she doesn't qualify for Club Fed, except for a waiver.
Correct.
And she's also apparently been approved for work release. So this bitch is going to leave the facility too? Hello.
And
this
Trump
is unacceptable.
claimed he read about it. When we read about it, he had no knowledge.
He wishes her well, though. Right.
Yes. Quick thank you to Shortness 3000 with a $20 super chat.
Holla. Thank you.
That is how it is done. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you for that support. Right now, independent media is more essential. Thank you. Woo!
I got to get some of those little cartoon things that Hal has. I got to ask him how he does that. You know, when somebody super chats and there's like a little thing that comes up. I got to figure out how he does that.
Well, he never sleeps, so he has plenty of time.
He really does.
In between his 18 million shows a week.
I don't know how he does it.
I don't. I do not know. He's just whatever. And not from drugs, because Hal is clean and sober his entire life. Has never had a drink. Has never done a drug. Ever, never. He's the cleanest person. I know. He is someone to admire for sure. We're very lucky to have him back on the show.
Did you see Shortness wrote, I love your show. What? Have you thought about having Nathan from Election Truth Alliance on your show to discuss the discrepancies from the last election? Yeah, why not?
I'm happy to reach out. Because yes, that's another huge. That's something that we should be talking about as we're talking about the Epstein files as well. Because the more we're watching Trump try to lock down Washington D.C., as we are watching him turn the White House, our house, the people's house, into Mar-a-Lago on the Potomac. No,
disgusting.
Thank you. As they are stealing food from the mouths of children to, make themselves richer, it's so glaringly obvious that he stole this election too. He stole the 2016 election, and he really stole the 2024 election.
It was a rigged deal.
Oh, shut up! Every accusation is a confession.
It's so it's mad.
And it's infuriating that everything he does, everyone's just like, okay. Sure, go ahead and do that. Lockdown
that
DC.
Press conference. Did you see the press conference? I know you were taking a mental health day. Did you
I saw some clips where he went back and he was talking about everybody wants to do transgender.
Yeah, everyone's talking about being trans. I mean, it's just, okay, Grandpa, just take a nap, Grandpa. Why are we enduring this? This is what I'm like. What the fuck is this mass hysteria?
I don't know. It's infuriating when you think about going back to election night. Nobody wins all 7 swing states, and they don't win all 7 swing states on election night. In no way does that happen. In 2020, we had to wait. Election was Tuesday. We had to wait until Saturday before Joe and Kamala were declared the winner. I will never, ever believe, and it's so fucking frustrating that they capitulated so quickly, and they were like, okay, we'll accept these results. Democrats should have been fighting.
Yeah.
Democrats should have been fighting, and it's not the same thing as denying election results. It's finding the truth in the election results, and the truth is Trump and Elon fucking cheated, and Elon told us so the same day he told us that Trump was all over the Epstein files. June 5th. He may have deleted those tweets, but screenshots are forever. Everybody believes that it was rigged. I think now, and anybody with half a brain, anybody who's not a troll bot.
Well, that's why the Democrats need to judo their messaging, to use their own bullshit against them. To say,
that's why we need Sherry Jacobus as our Democratic press secretary, but when we had her on the show talking about that.
And really, that's what we need to do. But when they start, because when they're whining about the election was stolen, that's what the Democrats should have done. Say, well, Trump is always declaring how everything is rigged. We just want to get to the bottom of it. Maybe he's right. Or maybe, right here we have these anomalies. So clearly, if and just use it again. Say, well, everything is a confession or a projection with Trump. So clearly he's fucking with the elections. And here's the evidence.
Always the case. Always the case. Especially... I mean, if you just think back to the weeks leading up to the election and his debate with Kamala, where he was yelling about they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Do not tell me that person swept all 7 swing states on election night. You can get all the way bent if you think Trump legitimately won this election. And we're watching them obfuscate and smoke screen and try everything, and they're throwing everything at the wall, and they're firing FBI agents, and they're doing all of this stuff because they are trying to get rid of every last person who knows what the truth looks like when it comes to this illegitimate administration. You don't like the job numbers, paw, fire the person who's bipartisan, by the way, and hire somebody from the Heritage Society, because I'm sure they're not going to throw the numbers.
Well, he just said,
no, they're not going to do that.
Right, the guy said that EJ, what's his name, EJ Antoni from the Heritage Foundation. He's the guy that Trump wants to put in charge, but he's now saying that we don't even need a jobs report. Who needs a jobs report? Because what do you need reality? What do you need facts to figure out what you need to do with your life? You just run your life like completely blind, right? Is that how you do it? That's what Republicans want.
Like the Wild West. Is that what they meant by Make America Great Again? Where you could just walk into a saloon and shoot somebody because they looked at your wife? I don't know.
It's too much adulting to actually take an accounting of the things that are working or not working and adjust them. And this is right out of the authoritarian playbook, as we all know, because and it is you know what it is? I'm actually writing an article about this. About how it's the hallmark of authoritarianism, how the people and the lickspittles refuse to tell the dear leader the truth. And what happens, what happens is the people end up suffering more. Just like Hitler in the bunker. Nobody could tell Hitler that, no, your Fifth Army is gone. It's decimated. This general, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, he was like, oh, yeah, Steiner will save us. Steiner's army is also decimated. No one could tell him the truth. And that is what happens in every authoritarian society where, they're the last to know until the masses with the pitchforks and torches are at the gate. And we're going there. We're going.
The people with the torches marched 8 years ago. Wow. Today in Charlottesville. That's today. And the fine people on both sides.
Jews will not replace us. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, it's so frustrating. Like, you know how much I hate racism and anti-Semitism and all of the isms and the othering of people. And it And I always go back to, and we had John Fugelsang on the show on Thursday, in his book, Separation of Church and Hate, is going to be, I think, an essential tool for us, those of us who are faced with this MAGA cult of people who also believe that the invisible sky daddy will fix everything and continue to, cherry pick both the Bible and the Constitution. Using his book as a primer to fight back, I think, is going to become absolutely necessary. But I mean, no one is born hating anyone or believing in anything. Right. And all of that is carefully taught and imprinted upon them by the people who are immediately around them, unless they somehow become independent thinkers at some point during their lives because they decide to challenge.
Yeah, they rebel against their parents. That's why I was always wondering. None of the Trump kids, I mean, they're that underwhelming, I suppose. Even Elon Musk, his children rebelled against him. His trans daughter, for example.
His trans daughter's awesome.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So it takes courage. It takes, because I guess the Trump children, they're very underwhelming. They've never held a legitimate job in their life that their daddy didn't give them. And they don't have to. So
just like daddy.
Mm-hmm. So
and
there you go.
It is abhorrent to watch anyone capitulating to him. And this was prior to the election. One of the things that I kept saying over and over again that I was most worried about, aside from election interference, which came to fruition, I was very worried about them controlling the flow of information.
Oh, yeah.
Controlling the FCC, controlling the Voice of America, controlling the media at large, and all of that has also come to fruition. I don't know anything about anything. It's fine. It's where do you go for your facts, and how do we know what we can rely on? And so this is why we should have a shadow cabinet already in place with our own Democratic press secretary and our own, mathematical geniuses taking care of the job numbers and the inflation. Because there's no inflation, there's no job numbers. People who are maybe inclined scientifically so they can make sure that our satellites aren't destroyed, so we know when bad weather is coming. They don't want us to know about bad weather. They don't want us to have vaccines. They want us all dead as fast as possible so we won't find out what's in the Epstein files.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. They, because they don't have any care or concern for other people. They're sociopaths. And in fact, I have an article about that I was perusing.
Yes,
that I didn't write it. It's
no, I know, but you were talking about it earlier.
Was I? Okay. Oh, with you and I when we were just talking.
Yeah, well, before the show. We were
right. Trump supporters report higher levels of psychopathy, manipulativeness, and callousness and narcissism. New psychological study, I know, right? It's shocking. Found that people who favor the views of Donald effing traitor Trump also tend to have a score higher on measures of, like I just said, callousness, basically psychopathic
traits. They're just like him.
Yes. The findings based on 2 large surveys of U.S. adults shed light on personality traits related to political belief. And the research was published by Journal of Research and Personality. Malevolent personality traits, sometimes called the dark traits. Why can't I talk? Include tendencies such as, they keep repeating that, manipulativeness and lack of empathy. These traits are captured in concepts of psychopathy, Machiavellianism, narcissism, and also reflect a general disposition towards exploiting or disregarding others for personal gain. It's this is the problem. See, this is why public education and the media are so important, because we have to cultivate decency and and elevate compassion, all the things that actually make America, not just America, but humanity great and thrive. We can't, there's no rugged individuals. This is why, I've been saying this for years, because I hate, legally and peacefully hate Republicans, but I just can't, everything about them, their entire frame, their whole ideology is based in bullshit, because there has never been a rugged individual in the whole history of Earth. because no one gets by, no one even will reach adulthood without other people helping them. And so we need each other together. Like even when we put a man on the moon, he didn't do it alone. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. But that was an entire team, and including the taxpayers of the United States, who, because of the great prosperity and the 90% top marginal tax rates on the rich, and that the American people were only 50 times, the CEOs were 50 times earning more than the lowest paid worker, not 450 times as it is today. And they could pay their taxes, and then we would use those taxes to fund this incredible humanitarian mission. So we, as John Kennedy said, let's put our energy into something positive and life-affirming, and something that we could do as a species, and just say, wow, we look at what we can do when we cooperate. And so, when who was the first man on the moon? John Glenn? That's
Neil Armstrong.
Oh, Neil Armstrong. When Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon, he didn't do it as a rugged individual. He did it as a testament to a democracy, to freedom, to the collective of the general welfare. That's what I mean. And this
a giant
is what,
leap for mankind, is what he said.
And
one small step for man, meaning himself, one giant leap for mankind. And also, let's remember that they wouldn't have gotten to the moon without black women.
That's
if
right.
You've seen the movie Hidden Figures. Black women.
True.
Black
all of
women
us
should be in charge of everything.
And that's how we, but I always say
they had been
exactly
in charge.
Well, because when you see black women, this is what always really breaks my heart too, and touches me, and is a power of example, because when they're trying to address their government for grievances, petition their government, as they rightfully can, according to our Constitution, they're not showing up at their local state houses or anywhere with what do you call it, bear spray and zip ties and cattle prods. They're waiting to speak to their elected representatives. They're going to town hall meetings. They're working within the system, and that's when the Republicans can't handle it. This is the problem. They can only take democracy to a point. When it actually is a functioning democracy that works for all and everyone has a seat at the table, they don't like it. They want to go back to the system that the founders overthrew. That's what they're doing. So don't be fooled.
And it's really hard to understand, because we are thinking and empathetic people. And we don't even wish harm upon these people who are wishing harm upon us. And I've said it repeatedly, both on this show and every other show I've ever been on, is that I don't want one more person to lose their life because of Donald Trump. Not the people who didn't vote for him, and not the people who voted for him. I don't need them to find out with their lives, right? I would rather they find out, with their feelings. They should be incredibly angry that he's done nothing but lie to them about the Epstein files. They don't want to believe they got lied to about anything else. They want to lean in and embrace everything else about him. You want to be a cult person and just think anything from the dear leader is good up to a certain point. Your red line needs to be a child rape. It needs to be a child rape. If your red line is not a child rape, you are not a functioning human.
Well, they're making excuses. That's what's getting me. I talked about on my show the other night, on the Tara Buster show. And there was a clip that went up about how, what's his name, Glenn Beck is just Xing out the Epstein files. No way that's true. You know how he puts he connects the dots?
Oh.
He's like, and there's the Harry from Homeland, you know?
There's the guy from CNN, Harry Enton, who does their statistics or whatever. He tweeted that the Epstein files are it's like over and everyone's moving on, and the Google searches for the Epstein files are trending down.
Well,
like, we're over it now, and it's like, fuck you, Harry. First of all, I unfollowed him, and then I responded with,
wow.
Protector. I'm sorry for being a little extra salty today with the language, but sometimes that calls for it. So, but I was like, no, and no, we're not forgetting about the Epstein files as much as you would love for us to do that, because you still employ Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings will not acknowledge anything regarding the Epstein files. I don't know how many times I've tweeted my clip that I recorded of Katie Johnson's testimony that is pinned to every single top of all of my social medias, because I'm insanely angry that not enough people know about it. So, but like one of the things that we were talking about with Sherry Jacobus when she was with us is, how do we fight back? Because, Twitter is not like 70% MAGA bots now. What do we do? And we have to be newsjacking.
Yeah.
Is what we have to be doing. Anybody who's still on any social media account, anytime you see any bullshit and it doesn't matter who it's from, anybody who's being even this much compliant, get in there. Like, right before we started talking today for the show, I saw on Instagram, the Kennedy Center Instagram.
Oh, no.
Did a real ass-kissy Trump post.
Oh, no.
Like, they're very excited to welcome him. Yeah, no, him and Melania, they're just, I don't know what they're doing.
Stop.
I don't know why they're stroking his ego. I don't know why anybody would capitulate. I really do not know. I do not understand it. This ingrate monster
shame on them.
Rapist.
Yeah.
Convicted fucking felon. He is a convicted felon. I had somebody who was actually a real person, because you know how I vet on Twitter before I respond to anybody, and this person had thousands of followers. And you always go and look at their profile. If their profile is nothing but retweets of MAGA influencers, like, that's a fake one. But if they have original tweets, it's closer to being a human person, and so you can vet, but always verify, then trust. But I said something about the Epstein files, and they were like, well, that was blah 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 blah, and something about him not being a convicted felon, because they said a trial isn't proof of guilt. I was like, well, 34 felony convictions are proof of guilt,
right? You would think
a unanimous jury decision for his business fraud, the unanimous jury award to E. Jean Carroll, which he can't stop losing those appeals.
Right.
So I would say that's pretty solid legal retribution, like how you're and I was like, why would you vote for a convicted felon? Why would you vote for an adjudicated rapist?
Shame. They have no shame. They don't care. They are that hateful. That's what I believe. There has to be. It is simply racism and what we're talking about. Owning the libs, drinking liberal tears. That in itself, I've been saying for years, is they're not patriots. And the Democrats have to message it like that. If you're drinking the tears of your fellow Americans, then there's something very wrong with you, and you are not a patriot. You need to be smashed into history's trash bin legally and peacefully. And if you don't if you don't like living in a free democratic republic, then fuck off to Hungary, fuck off to Russia. I mean, you don't get to change our system of government because you are too much of a man baby to function in it.
I don't get it. And the women who are
they're the
compliant
worst.
is even worse. And so this meeting between Daddy Vladdy and his favorite puppet, who he's owned since 1987, let's be honest, they're going to meet on American soil, which is disgusting. It was disgusting when he invited the Taliban to the United States, to Camp David. This is egregious. That's two war criminals on American soil. Where's the International Criminal Court? I know it's not like they stand there with fisticuffs waiting to arrest them. Vladimir Putin has been classified as a war criminal by the International Criminal Court. The second he lands on American soil, he should be arrested.
Never. I know. Well, we're still waiting for the transcript. That's the other thing. The Democrats, another missed opportunity.
Since 2018. Jesus Christ. We never got that transcript.
That's right. Well, he confiscated it. When he met in secret, after he embarrassed America on the world stage in front of everyone with Putin, where he kissed Putin's ass and just genuflected to his master. He met behind closed doors with Putin, with no Americans present, no American translator, just the Russian translator, and he confiscated the transcript. And when a reporter asked him about it, said, what did you talk about it with Putin? He said, it's none of your business. go fuck yourself. This is a lawless administration.
Egregious.
Yeah.
Like they would have accepted that answer from Joe Biden.
Exactly. It's so unbelievably mind-boggling. That's why I don't understand. And I have to say, I've been watching Lawrence O'Donnell, and he's
like the only, him and Rachel, right?
Yes.
Like,
but he
really
is, but he's taking it to the White House press corps. And I've been saying for years, like, what are you doing there? You're embarrassing us. You're embarrassing yourself.
Yeah.
There's no purpose to you being there. And when you compare the way that they talk to Joe Biden and Harris, you know, the way they talk down to him and her, screaming at him, screaming at her, you know, they would never let it go. Anything.
Never.
No, imagine.
Never.
And just take one thing that Traitor Trump says or does. They would never hear the end of it. But this,
I mean, the roof thing alone. If Joe Biden was on the roof,
oh my God,
for any reason,
exactly,
and we still don't know why he was up there.
Because he was probably saying,
wandered away from the security detail. Went, where does this door go?
Because he's a fucking underwhelming baboon. He does it, and just like the guy who wrote The Art of the Deal for him, what's the guy's name?
Michael Wolff.
Yeah, I don't think it was Wolff. It was the ghostwriter of
the other one.
Yeah. Anyway, someone on the chat.
Michael Wolff makes these great videos. On
it's not Michael
Instagram,
Wolff. It's Hold on. So
I will say though, if you're not following Michael Wolff, you should be, because he's making these videos on Instagram. And by the way, he is a dead ringer for Fred Armisen. So I think Fred Armisen needs to be making videos as Michael Wolff. I think that would be amazing. But anyway,
no, the guy from. Go ahead, sorry.
Who was his other ghostwriter? I'm trying to remember.
Tony Schwartz.
Is anyone in the chat?
Tony Schwartz. I looked it up. Yeah, okay. But Tony Schwartz said that of course, The Apprentice made this monster. The producer of The Apprentice should have released all of his racist tirades and whatnot. But anyway, Trump was not a successful businessman. That was a complete fabrication from Hollywood. You know, for people who hate Hollywood, liberals, they certainly rely on them a lot. And they certainly look to the Hollywood portrayal of what it means to be a man or a woman. It's like an infant. You know, kids don't have a matter, you know, like everything's black and white. It's very, you know how it is with kids. You're the good guy, you're the bad guy, whatever. That's who they are. But Art of the Deal, Tony Schwartz said that Trump wasn't a deal maker. That's why he bankrupted his casino, because he paid
plural more than one casino.
Right, casinos. You're right. He paid retail for everything. So if you're building a casino and you go buy chandeliers, you would call the chandelier maker and say, "Hey, I have a casino. Can I get a deal on these chandeliers?" He would just go, "Get me those chandeliers," to somebody else. And they were like, well, shouldn't we make a deal? No, just get them for me. So he was like paying retail price for everything. And then the thing that Tony Schwartz said, that the only thing he did all day was look at swatches. All right. That's why
doesn't surprise me.
Yes. And say, oh, this is a good rug for the blackjack area. This is a good curtain for, you know, that's what he's doing here. Not revitalize. He's,
he's redecorating.
Exactly. It's tacky. He looks like Saddam's palace.
Tacky. Oh my God.
That's not his house.
The Oval Office into the Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
I feel like every day he sends somebody on a Hobby Lobby run and says, "Get more gold spray paint."
It's gross.
So we can make this place look tackier. And now he's got like an étagère, a shelf of merch in the Oval Office. Right, yes. He was offering, who was it? From, God, he was the president from another country. I can't remember what. The other day, he was like, "Do you want a hat? It says Trump 2028. Everybody wants that to happen."
Everybody's talking about it.
Calling it
fuck you.
The White House grift shop. Here's a T-shirt.
I like it.
Here's a gold brick of a special iPhone from Tim Cook.
Oh, yeah. Tim Cook.
Who is gay, by the way.
All of them.
Oh, my God. Now, while we're watching all of our norms fall to the wayside because of this ridiculous, egregiously illegitimate administration, back in the news is Kim Davis, the backwoods hick woman who wanted to outlaw gay marriage. And she wants the Supreme Court to reconsider the gay marriage decision, while she, by the way, has been married 4 different times. But Christian marriage, quote unquote, what John Fugelsang touched on when he was here with us on Thursday, that's allegedly better than gay marriage. Most of the gay couples that I know who are legally married now have been together for more than 20 years. Kim Davis has been married 4 times. First of all, I don't know how many. 4? There are 4 disgusting.
Who wants to sleep with her?
Cletuses. I don't know. I've been single.
That's how bad it is out there.
I don't get it. I live in a major metropolitan city. I live in Portland, Oregon, where you think that there'd be some good pickings, but no. She lives in the middle of nowhere, MAGA town, and she got married 4 different times. How Christian and loving. I mean, if you want to be biblical about it, I mean, there were those women who were concubines and got passed around. I mean, maybe she's one of those with her bumpet hair, walking around dressed like Holly Hobbie. I don't get it. You don't like gay marriage, then don't get gay married.
Fuck off. Okay? Exactly. It's freedom. You know, that's how the Democrats need to message it too. Leave people alone. This is about freedom. Win this one.
We're not going to let her win this one because then interracial marriage is on the chopping block next.
It's all on the chopping. I mean, it is
who you're married to. It's so stupid.
Leave people alone. I mean, we're all just sharing a blip of time. And they have to tell us. This is what I say all the time too. I'm sorry, why do I have to say that? I shouldn't qualify it, but just because they're always talking about how everything is being shoved down their throats. No one swoops to Arkansas and tells that bitch to not have 19 kids and counting or anything, right? But they tell us what we could do all the time. No one wrote a law targeting these fuckers and told them they have to stop side hugging each other and just give each other a real hug because of all the scientific. Because what about the children? You know, when children aren't hugged, they get sick. It actually reduces their immune system. We have the studies that show that babies who aren't held, they actually die. It stunts their development. So but we could do things like that. Not that I'm saying we should, but that it's just showing
they're not
that
they're pro-life party.
Yeah, but they're just so full of shit. It's like, fuck off, leave people alone. Go have 19 kids and counting. We'll have our lives.
And they can't though.
You know,
and that's what I don't like. Again, it's because we're thinking and empathetic people where it's like you want to think what you want to believe and go make your own little cult by yourself and have 12 children. Right, fine, whatever. You don't get to force that upon the rest of us. And by the way, gay people don't care about your boring straight marriage. No, they won't. And it's so frustrating when you think about, well, look, I mean, Pete Hegseth thinks that women should lose the right to vote. Yes. And Pete Hegseth also believes that the Jews killed Jesus.
Yes.
How is that helpful to have someone like that with any sort of political power, yet he's the Secretary of Defense? What are you defending us from, you piece of shit? Nothing. We need to be defended from you.
Yep,
our government isn't supposed to be attacking us. That's the bottom line of the United States of America. Our government is not supposed to threaten us, scare us, bully us, and they're not supposed to take anything away from us. What they're supposed to do is collect taxes and then put it back into the country to make sure we have all of the things that we need. They're not doing that. They're not providing for the common defense. They're not promoting the general welfare. They are not living by the Constitution that they love to cherry pick as much as they love to cherry pick their Bible. And that's where we are at this time, where we have this entire political party engaged in a massive cover-up of Donald Trump's raping of sex-trafficked little girls because money.
Yeah.
Because money.
Because they're underwhelming. Money. They can't seem to make a buck if the scales are balanced. If the laws of the country don't give them everything and allow them to put their boot on our necks unpestered by this pesky government of we the people. That's what they're doing. They want to turn it back to the system the founders overthrew, where the rich run and rule, and we are all out here fighting over the scraps, and we have no power to climb the ladder. There's no upward mobility. There's no, an income disparity, forget about it. Your reward will come in heaven. That's why when they go after the separation of church and state, that's how the Democrats have to message it. They are attacking the pillars of democracy. There they go again.
Yes, they are.
They don't like democracy. That's what they're doing. The Democrats shouldn't be.
Yeah.
They let them be if they feel that they are Christians. Fine. This is not about who could be more Christian. Do you love your country? Do you love the Constitution? That's what you took an oath to. The freedom to worship or not. And they don't even understand due process anymore. It's an epidemic all over the country where these Republicans are saying that people who are here illegally shouldn't have due process, which is a complete violation of the Constitution. And they're adamant about it. They're putting their foot down. Well, the Constitution applies to everybody on our soil. That's what makes America great. But they don't seem to get that. They don't understand greatness. They're tiny. They're small. They're very tiny, fragile people, very underwhelming, emotionally stunted. And they really lack the ability to function in a great country. That's why they want to make America as small as they are, as fragile, as fearful. Real, they fucking suck.
What a sad way to live. Sad and evil,
totally.
Really. But so here's my question. So they shut down. What does it mean for our government that they've done this to Washington D.C.? Because I would say, if I was Democratic leadership today, if I'm Schumer and Jeffries, I'm calling all Democrats back to Washington.
Yeah,
your recess is over. We need to huddle up and figure out what the fuck we're doing. You got to get Ken Martin and Malcolm Kenyatta from the DNC, and you all need to huddle up. Oh, true. I found out Ken Martin was in Portland recently. Ken Martin from the DNC came to Portland and had some sort of powwow. There's some local heavy hitters with deep, deep pockets who are Democratic supporters. Okay. And so he came out here and had a meeting with them that I did not know about until after the fact. So if anybody can get Ken Martin to include me next time, that'd be great, because I have great ideas to implement, and I'm very frustrated that I can't get all of these people who follow me back to respond. It's crazy. It is a time...
That's what, who said that? Rachel Bidikofer. These things could happen if they had the money, so, yeah.
Right. So, and Sherry Jacobus said she could make it happen in 3 days. Mm-hmm. So, as far as getting a Democratic press secretary, because we need one. We need someone who's out there, especially now when they're going to be putting out false statistics to make this administration look better than it is, and to try to make Joe Biden's administration, which is already in the record and archived. There is a website archived with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's full record, and they can't fuck with that. You can try, but it's in the record already, and it's on the internet. So they can act. I mean, I guess they can. I don't know.
Well, they can, and they will whenever they have the power to. But fuck with it.
We can always take those screenshots, but because Joe Biden's economy was historically successful.
Right.
We lifted up all global economies with ours after he took this country out of a pandemic depression caused by who? Donald Trump, because Republicans are the worst.
Yeah.
And every time, even a Republican who isn't owned by by Putin, even Republicans historically have been bad for the economy, have gotten us into unnecessary foreign wars, have destroyed our norms, have put us into recessions. And it's Democrats who always have to get in there and clean up the messes, and also then get blamed for the mess that they cleaned up.
That's right. Well, it's part of the media.
Joe Biden isn't, I know, and that's why independent media like ours matters more than ever, which is why, the support in the super chat matters, and signing up for our Substacks matter, because the destinations for truth in the media are getting fewer and fewer. Where are you going to get your truth? And so it's Political Voices Network is one of the last bastions of truth on the internet. Now we're seeing, I mean, Substack used to be for like all the smart kids and indie media going there to blog, but MAGA people have started really flooding Substack, which that doesn't mean I'm leaving Substack, because I have found Substack to be a good place to express ourselves and keep each other informed. And it's a really great way to support people who are out here doing what we do. But I would also contend that if that, you're never going to stop these people from showing up on social media, just like you're not going to stop them from showing up in the mainstream media.
Right.
The point is to not let them control the narrative to the best of our ability, which is really hard to do right now, which is why Democrats need to get back to Washington and not sit home on recess.
Yeah. That's not Hakeem Jeffries, though. This is the problem. He's not that kind of leader, which is really frustrating.
Well, then get Jasmine Crockett to do it.
Right. Well, I don't know if you saw this.
In charge.
Yeah, really. Somebody who's not afraid to throw a punch. Yeah, not just stand there and take it. Really. I mean, legally and peacefully, metaphorically, let's say. But I just want to show you this one thing that is emblematic of who the fuck they are. Well,
look what's happening in Texas. You're threatening the arrests of Democrats, but you need them to vote. So, what do you want to do?
Well, they're cheating. They can't win squarely and fairly on the field of ideas.
They never do.
Right.
They really can't, ever.
So, but look at this.
Oh,
see,
God. What is
I don't know if you saw this.
doing now?
Well, this is the Republicans want all the benefits of civilization. It's like kind of what we were talking about with them, their magical thinking, but also they want to own the libs. Well, this is a direct result.
Right. Well, you're not going to own anybody.
Right. A direct result of the big ugly bill. Insurance rates went up over 54%. Health insurance for the people of Arkansas. Fuck you then. You voted for that.
Suck it.
You voted.
Suck it.
Right,
Sorry,
bitches.
you're finding out now.
Yeah, because they did away with this terrible Affordable Care Act. So this is what I'm talking about. That's why it is a failure of the media, because throughout the campaign we heard them say, well, Joe Biden, that the American people, it was always a poll saying that the American people think that Trump is better for the economy, even though he left office with the worst jobs rate since Herbert Hoover. And then we have the historical numbers that Democrats are just better for the economy. Republicans tank it, and Democrats fix it and make it better for everybody. That is a cycle that we've been experiencing for the past 100 years, and it can't be denied. But I mean, because we have the numbers. So they want all the benefits of civilization, but they also want to fuck with the libs. ACA, Obamacare. Well, bitch, now how's it feeling? You don't have.
How's it feeling?
Yeah, this is what you get.
It's like we said at the top of the show. Red states are going to feel this way sooner and way worse than blue states. And that is just a fact of what this country is doing. It's like Josh Hawley wants to send everybody who are Trump voters, not us, but all of those people are going to get a $600 rebate check. What? No. What? How about you just don't do this?
Yeah.
How about you don't take shit away from us, you assholes?
Well, it's like
how about you stop supporting a pedophile? How about you do that too?
Right.
Okay?
Well, that what is that $1,000 Trump bucks bullshit for baby? That'll last a whole week, guys.
It'll only work for white babies. So, as long as you're a white Christian baby, then you'll get $1,000. Hey, his approval rating is even lower than it was during his first illegitimate administration, which means he's such a loser that he can lose to himself. It's pathetic. It is pathetic, the example, quote unquote, that he is setting, and that all of these Republicans are compliant because nobody wants to talk about how he raped little girls. And I'm very tired of nothing happening with this Epstein files thing. And what I don't understand is, if my Senator Ron Wyden was able to investigate the financial records, how come he can't just release it all now? Just throw it into the world, Ron. Throw it out there. You've already got it. Let everybody see what you got. He said that they found over 1,000 names of girls who were part of the sex trafficking ring.
Yes.
And part of the privacy issue. But I mean, you can release all of that information, and you can just redact the women's names for their privacy, for their protection. But you can still release the facts and the finances and the spreadsheets or whatever it is, or the whatever records you have between Jeffrey Epstein and his wire transfers between Epstein and a Russian bank. That one alone was $1.1 billion. That's one of 4,275 wire transfers. But the Trump administration doesn't think that's worth investigating. But it's really important to call in the National Guard, which you didn't do on January 6th.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like a smokescreen to me.
And Tim Burchett is on Fox News saying how he's afraid to leave his office in Washington, D.C., because of all the crime. But isn't he he's the representative from Tennessee? One of those poorly run red states that has a higher crime rate than Washington, D.C.
Which, you know who's really good at pointing that out is Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom's Twitter game is on point, because as soon as somebody says something about a blue state, you got his press office Twitter account going, well, actually, your state is, 48th in this, or whatever.
Good.
Like, he comes back with the fact, which is what we also have to do. And that's what Sherry was meaning by the newsjacking. As the truth is getting, weakened and weakened, we have to strengthen it by responding with facts.
He's going, it's too daggum dangerous out there, Tim Burch. I mean, I'm so sick of it.
It's so scurry.
Too daggum dangerous. Well, then.
Because Big Balls got carjacked. Now, tell me that wasn't staged, just like the assassination. Shut up. Staged. Everything they do is fake and staged, and I am sorry, but two teenagers who were 15 carjacked that kid, the Big Balls kid, and now we have to shut down Washington, D.C., but you didn't want to shut down D.C. on January 6th? Shut up. Shut up. This is so fake.
And pay the National Guard to... Oh, no, it's bullshit. But don't put money into, like late night basketball. Remember how they eviscerated Obama for these initiatives that gave kids something positive to do? Cut their lifelines, cut their education benefits, cut, any kind of system or service that helps people get out of crime. I mean, this is what the problem is. We all have to live in the consequences of Republican policies, and they all suck. In fact, Tennessee is, where is the stat I just saw? 68%. Tennessee's violent crime rate is 68% higher than the national average. And he's talking about D.C. He can't go out of his office in D.C. because it's too daggum dangerous.
Right. That's when you go to his latest tweet, and doesn't matter what his tweet is about. It doesn't even matter. That's why you newsjack. You go to Tim Burchett's Twitter, and you go, actually, your state has a crime rate of this. And the next, there was just a new crime statistics put out against where I live here in Portland, and our crime rate is down even more than Washington, D.C.'s. So you cannot be calling Portland one of these shithole cities when our murder rate is down 51%, which is the highest in the country. So, the highest rate of lower crime, I guess, which is an odd way to position it. But currently, we have the lowest homicide rate in the country, which most people wouldn't believe if you listen to only Trump, which no one should do, obviously. So we're just coming up towards the end of the show here. And one thing, thank you, Jim, for being the bestest of moderators. Thank you so much. And something that we're excited about for this coming Thursday, it's our 50th episode. We're already at our first real milestone for the Tara Show is happening this Thursday. I don't think we're going to do anything specifically special. Maybe we should have cupcakes. I don't know. Then, at the end of this month, August 28th, which is also a Thursday, which means we'll be together, that is the 10-year anniversary of my getting blocked by Trump on Twitter. So I feel like we really should do something special that day also. We're happy to take suggestions from the chat. And if people want me to get, I was thinking of getting my Trump Twitter block printed out onto a cake, but that's really expensive.
Yeah,
that's what I learned. It's like $100 to get that on a sheet cake. But if anybody wants to give me $100 to get that on a sheet cake, I will eat it live on camera. Just not the part where his face is. The bad part I would scrape off, because who wants that? But I'm just saying, we appreciate every single one of you who take your time. You have choices on the vast internet, and we're glad that you decided to spend this hour with us. We would very much appreciate your support, whether it's via Venmo or signing up for a paid subscription to our Substack, subscribing to the PVN YouTube and Substack. The truth is the most important thing right now, and we're going to keep putting it out into the world, and we are never going to stop doing that. Am I right, my friend?
I think you're right there. I think you're right. But I also want to say, River Rocks, thank you for becoming a member of the Political Voices channel.
Thank you.
And Shortness, of course, for your super chat. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we'll see you back here on the big 50th show on Thursday.
Yeah. I cannot believe it.
I know. Oh, and buy my book, The Sound of Settling, a rock and roll love story at TowerDublinRocks.com. Thank you so much.
See you soon.
See you Thursday. Okay.